All right, so the thing that people are saying about people our age and Gen Z is that they don't have anything really that's just theirs to own. They don't have a fight. They don't have. We don't even have good movies anymore. So I don't know. We probably really don't have anything. But yeah, every generation kind of has something that's just theirs. Maybe it's something music related. Maybe it's a victory of theirs, like, to do with a war that ended and it was just a good time for everyone because they managed to fix, I don't know, just fix some problem. And Gen Z doesn't really have one. I think a lot of people have been saying, and I actually disagree with that. And I'll tell you why in a second. But people have been saying that, and they're saying that's the problem. This new generation that's so purposeless and stuff, they just don't have anything that bands them together. They're the most isolated. And of course, the isolated part is true. But I actually disagree. I think there is something that we do have. The problem is that rather than it being an overt thing that we all struggle together against, it's covert. It's something that people aren't really realizing. And I think our generation's struggle is our generation's war, our thing that bands us together, is the fact that our dopamine has basically been hijacked. And the thing that sets this apart, I'll explain what that is in a second, but the thing that sets that apart from other generations is the fact that this war that we have isn't overt, it isn't obvious, it's covert because people haven't actually realized what it is, and as such they just think we have nothing. And that's of course because of how well done this has been done by the people who I'm about to blame for it. But effectively, because we don't all know that this is our war, this is our thing that bands us together, we almost do have nothing. So what does it mean when I say our dopamine has been hijacked? If you don't know what dopamine is, it is a neurotransmitter in the brain, obviously, because I shouldn't have said in the brain because it's a neurotransmitter, but if it wasn't obvious, it's in the brain. It's a hormone, and it's nicknamed the motivation hormone because when you do things that are supposedly crucial for survival, for example, eating, socializing can do it as well, a few other things, I guess, having children, etc., all those things, they can release dopamine. And what that does is the next time you see that thing, for example, say you were a caveman and you slayed a mammoth or something and ate it, the next time you see a mammoth, even before, you're eating it, you're not actually enjoying the food yet, you would get what's called an anticipatory dopamine release, and that would motivate you to go hunt down that mammoth. Without any dopamine, you don't feel motivated to do anything, and they've actually tested that with rats, and by giving them no dopamine, like they've taken it all out of them somehow, and they literally don't even eat, they just die, and they don't even care. So that's how important dopamine is. That's what motivates you to do things that are critical for your survival. The unfortunate problem is that these days, we've managed, and when I say we, I mean, big companies, scientists, etc., have managed to create things that are so high dopamine that they're actually more pleasurable than things we need to do. So instead of eating normal, healthy food, obviously we've got ultra-processed food that's been chemically designed to be extremely high dopamine, even though it's unhealthy. And so rather than be motivated to do things that are critical for your survival, like an animal or a caveman, you're now actually drawn to things that are not good for you. For example, the junk food we just mentioned, video games, social media is a huge one, short form content consumption. We could probably name like 10 more, but those are the main ones that basically everyone does. And they do result in addiction because what happens when you, just like with the anticipatory dopamine release I mentioned before, when you do these things like swiping on short form content, your brain gets used to it, and when it encounters that thing, it gets the anticipatory dopamine release that motivates you to do it, and then you're obviously addicted to it effectively. I don't know the exact percentage, but certainly at least 10% of teenagers are literally addicted to short form content. I don't know for sure, but it's probably something like that. That is what I mean by dopamine, how our dopamine has been hijacked. And if you didn't get it already, it's been hijacked. When I say hijacked, I mean through our advanced understanding of scientists, the people that run the social media companies, for example, are able to make the notifications as enticing as possible, as high dopamine as possible. That's why you get the little red circle in the corner of the yellow Snapchat app. They've literally designed everything from the colors to the noises to the actual setup of the page with like the reels and everything to be as high dopamine as possible. The algorithm feeds you things you like to keep you addicted to it. Even when you like, say you download, we actually tested this once, me and my friends, say you download Instagram, for example, and you deny it permission to access anything else on your phone. You know how it comes up saying, can I go through blah, blah, blah? Can I stalk every other social media and see what content you like? pretend you press no on that, and then you set up an account literally based on your age, your gender, maybe obviously your location, what language you speak. When you have no actual search history for the algorithm to go through yet, it'll actually start recommending you things that it thinks people your age will look at. So, for example, if you're, when I did this a few years ago, so, a teenage boy, it'll recommend you things it thinks that you want to see. So obviously there was a lot of gym, obviously there was a lot of girls. You get the picture, right? It's actually trying to keep you addicted, and it's getting more and more sophisticated to the point where it can know what you want to watch almost before you do, which is pretty creepy because we're all not that different. We actually have a lot in common. But the point of all that is our fight. I think that is what our war is. It's against this hijacking of dopamine by big companies, by scientists, by people who are, self-centered. Obviously, I'm not saying all companies operate like that. It's only some. But yeah, I think that is our war. The second part of this, which I said at the start of the video, which is that I've kind of gone around a little bit here, which is that it's not something that everyone understands as a covert war, is obviously true, because how many people actually talk about this stuff? How many people our age are actually aware of this? I'm pretty sure average screen time for someone between 13 and 30 is like 6 hours a day or something ridiculous like that. The average person spends 2 to 3 hours on social media, and most of that is probably consuming just reels on Instagram and that kind of thing. So it's a big problem. I really need to stop smacking the desk. I'm going to continue doing it, but just know that I'm aware of it, and I wish I could change, but I'm not going to. But just be aware that we do actually have something. Our war is against this hijacking of dopamine and our addiction to things that are bad for us, more so than ever before, and at a younger age than ever before, because people are statistically using social media from like 11, and God knows how young they're eating a lot of junk food at. But yeah, that is our thing. That is what binds us together, and we need to do more work towards it, which is why we need more videos like this, and it's why I'm a proponent of people who hate social media the most. Should be the ones that post on social media. But anyway, that is the video. I've got the ebook coming soon. Comment below if you have any questions, and hit the subscribe button. Thank you for watching, guys, and have a good one.